versus number 12 as Ohio State visits Iowa in a match to jump things up here. A top 12 matchup midway through Big Ten. Best offenses in the Big Ten, top 20, both of these teams in offensive rating in the nation. Getting started here early.
And for that, for Ohio State, it's a lot of steals to score specifically, but in the half court, we'll see a lot of dribble drive, a lot of movement. Jelani Cambridge is one that needs the ball in her hands, but hey, I'm not mad at that shot.
Ava Watson left alone. She's going to knock down the long range two, and Taylor McCabe has come up hobbled, even slapping the floor, and this is tough to see for Iowa fans. This is a four-year Hawkeye, one of the best shooters in the entire country, apparently injured on the first play of the game and needing a lot of help, being carried off the floor right now.
Oh yeah, you saw the way she went on her knee. Just like a misstep with the knee kind of went. That's a tough one to watch. She's gonna go back to the training room and get it looked at. Hopefully it's not something as severe as the way it looked.
McCabe is a 40+% career three-point shooter. Hope to see her as soon as possible, but Iowa has to deal with that kind of loss right now. Here is Kylie Feuerbach driving to the rim, and how emotionally you deal with a starter out of the game here so soon. Kevin McGuff in his 13th season leading Ohio State. Just one loss in Big Ten play, 7-1, as Ohio State's able to take control of the basketball in the mid-range in transition. Doesn't go for Jelani Cambridge.
But that's exactly what they're looking for. You see it here again, the pressure.
Addie Deal, the freshman, throws it up ahead. She came right in from McCabe, down low into Stokey, and Iowa can also score on the run.
I'm so impressed with the freshman to be able to have that poise and kick it up, because it's so top heavy when you talk about Ohio State's pressure, but once you get it over the top, it is dangerous. They are vulnerable.
Ohio State is stifling, smothering, so the freshman was able to deal with it. How about Ava Watson with another field goal? That touch nothing going down.
She has really stepped up since coming into this role in her starting position in place of Kylie.
The center is able to step in and get the steal, looking for another three, back-to-back. It is Chance Gray, and the Buckeyes keeping this crowd silent early in Iowa City.
Yeah, let me tell you something, Sloan. When you have the back end, the big coming up and getting that steal, it's looking really good for you.
That's how you know how good this press is. Lamila on the interior. It's going to be a travel call on Ava Hayden, with the Buckeyes leading 8-2.
Yeah, in this press, this is what we talked about. The 2-2-1 is stifling. You see it up there already causing havoc for Stokey, who launches it up. And that secondary pass, that anticipation, that's where Ohio State gets most of their steals. And you credit Lemela, the big, to get it going.
Kevin McGuff told us today our press has to be working at full throttle to have a chance against a team we don't match up well against, with Kylie Kitts out for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to go against Hannah Stokey and Ava Hayden in the half court. You already see them posting up so hard.
It's Kennedy Cambridge who's guarding Hannah Stokey. Stokey skies for the rebound right over her. Here's Chit Chat right along the baseline. She stopped. And the Hawkeyes gonna reset here.
And to your point, Slow, Kennedy Cambridge has to do a better job. That's a face block there at that point when it comes to that size mismatch.
And she's trying to prevent a post-entry pass. Instead, that shot will fall for the Hawkeyes, and they needed that, starting 1 of 3 from the floor. Ava Hayden, just a sophomore, the leading scorer on this team. Back-to-back 20-point games. Backdoor, that was tipped and stolen away by the Hawkeyes. Wright turns on the Jets, being guarded by Kennedy Cambridge, one of the best defenders in the nation. On ball and off. Here's the lob inside to Stokey. That's what Ohio State's worried about and what Iowa wants to capitalize on.
Every single time, the high-low, the overthrow pass, whether from the slots, from the top of the key, the guards, Hannah Stokey, Ava Hayden, they do such a great job of clocking that.
Cambridge runs into a couple of trees taken away by Hayden. Iowa now within 2 in the first quarter, as Deal will weave, then retreat. Couple games removed from a breakout performance against Oregon. Here's Lamila, strong defensive play, lands in the hands of Deal, and she takes it to the cup.
Iowa, they've got the crowd going, the energy, they're really starting to get fueled and coming to life early on. They took a bit of a hit in the beginning, McCabe going out, but now they're finding their rhythm.
A well-loved starter leaves the game, a 6-0 run, but Look at Ava Watson stepping into the spotlight like it's nothing.
I mean, that's how you step up when your number's called. Defense is going to focus on Cambridge, on Chance Gray, so other players have to step up, and Watson's been doing that.
8 points on 3 of 3 shooting here. Able to poke it away. It's a jump ball, keeping it right here with Ohio State leading 11-8.
When you can get dynamic scoring from your guards, from your bigs, that's where it looks good for the Hawkeyes. And this thrower, that's going to be there every time with the mismatch, with the length that Stuelke has. And how about the freshman coming in, not playing like a freshman, coming into this lineup in the absence of McCabe and just making her presence felt instantly.
Right surveying. Deep cross-court pass. No good there by Kylie Feuerbach. Another offensive rebound by Stuelke, and she's fouled as she tried to pass it away.
Yeah, that's going to be there every time. If I'm Hannah Stuelke, she already does this, but I'm just going to the glass like, you know, it's my day job. Because she has the mismatch in the size there, and for the Buckeyes, it's just one of those things where you really have to face block, which is when you face her, you block out. Don't even worry about the ball. Let your teammate get it, but just make sure Hannah Stuelke is away from the basket.
Having to change your mindset to that being your primary assignment is preventing her from getting on the glass. The run continues for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Nice shot there by Addie Deal, stepping in, coming off the bench unexpectedly, clearly staying ready when her number was called early.
And you even see Jelani Cambridge try to get a little transition action going there. That's a great job by Ava Hyden closing in on that gap to make her back it back out.
Halfway down and out for Kennedy Cambridge, getting the assignment at the 4 position today without Kylie Kitts. Lemula tries to wall up Hyden, and the second travel inside on the sophomore for Iowa.
It's a good defensive stop there. You talked about defense. You talked about Kennedy Cambridge having the guard out of position. That's something that Coach McGov really credited her for, is her ability to be able to guard positions 1 through 4.
Coach McGuff said that without Kylie Kitts, we are missing rim protection, we are missing rebounding. So a lot of that onus is going to go on the 6'6" Elsa Lemula.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody else just has to do more, especially when you talk about battling on the glass.
Deal getting the assignment on Cambridge.
On the wall.
It's incredible how her mind works too, how much joy she finds in that kind of fun and activity, but she's been on a tear recently. You saw that 41-point game in front of her idol Asia Wilson in Champaign. Here's Bryn Martin lofting up a floater. That's no good. Great effort. Ava Watson's had a tremendous start looking for the assist. Doesn't get it from Kennedy Cambridge, and swallowed up by Hyden. Taylor Stremlow sprinting up the floor, going into 2 Buckeyes. It'll be a blocking foul.
Love the aggressive take by Stremlow there. I mean, Iowa continuing to do a great job taking away the paint. They're forcing a lot of outside shots for Ohio State, which is what we'll see given the matchup. Have another look at it here. Stremlow, okay, behind the back crossover. And then drawing the contact. Looked like she surprised herself there on that one.
Just a sophomore is Taylor Stremlow from Verona, Wisconsin. And since she walked on campus, head coach Jan Jensen has talked about the moxie that she possesses, where she just has fun, she takes risks, maybe apologizes for it later, but it really does pay off for this team.
I mean, really, when you go out there, I'm talking about last season, to your point, as a freshman, that's really all you can do.
An offensive foul is going to go 21, and Coach McGuff told us before this game that it feels like whenever these teams meet, it is meaningful. There's something on the line, and for right now, it's jostling in the Big Ten standings.
Absolutely, but that's what makes these matchups so much fun for the players. They go in with a chip on their shoulder, not necessarily thinking about what's at stake in the moment, but just kind of taking this opportunity and chance to come out on top.
Taylor Stremlow forcing her way inside. She's walled up. Stuelke working for the mid-range, shoots over. Kennedy Cambridge drops it, and she is feasting on that matchup right now.
Yeah, and that's not a typical shot we've been seeing from Stuelke. Normally it's a dig down, shoulder down, drive to the basket, but I love it. Elevate and shoot it over the size, the lack of size, therefore, compared to her.
Kennedy Cambridge tries to get downhill, met by Hyden. A much bigger lineup for the Hawkeyes. They can maintain throughout much of this game. A deep post up for Lemula. Look at the footwork at play, but she can't finish.
Now, Ohio State, they got to connect on those baskets inside. They're going to beat Iowa with pace and with speed.
Foul coming over the half-court line with the aggressive defense is Jelani Cambridge having a chat with Ava Watson.
Hannah Stuelke out there looking like a guard, got the handle together with the elevate over. That's 6'2", but probably 6'6", 6'7", maybe with the wingspan, with the elevation to say, I mean, those are the shots that I know Coach wants to see from Stokely.
That's 2 personal fouls on Ava Watson, and Coach McGuff not pleased with this call. Trying to provide some aggressive on-ball defense on Stremlo.
I don't know about that one either, because they changed the rule with the 2-hand touch, and as long as you're not impeding their space, and that was clearly about to be a blow-by, so I think I'm with Coach McGuff on that one.
Coming into the game, Tiana Todd, a 6-foot guard, transferring from Boston College. Here is Deal. Deep post of for Hannah Stolke. She can't finish, even though she had the mismatch against Jelani Cambridge with the drop step.
And I think she didn't need to take the drop step to the middle. It should have instantly just went baseline, because you had Jelani on you baseline by herself or going into Lemola.
You were a post player, Asia. Your eyes are lighting up when you have that person behind you.
Oh, mouse in the house, it is over. I'm salivating.
That poked away. 2:49 to play in the first quarter. Still staying on this side of the floor, but Iowa really getting in those passing lanes, a lot of deflections. They've held Ohio State in a scoring drought, approaching 3.5 minutes. They're 0 for their last 4 as Ohio State. Chance Gray looking to get her more involved offensively, gets herself in rhythm, doesn't get the roll.
The shot didn't hit, but those are the looks that they need to get. The ball screen to the mid-range. So you're not going into the size of Iowa. You're getting into those gaps.
Skip pass, Deal takes off into the paint, carving up the defense to the cup.
You talk about fearless freshman. That is Addie Deal in a heartbeat.
Biggest lead of the game for Iowa. Todd lines up a 3, off back iron. Taylor Stremlo running the show, engineering this offense for the Iowa Hawkeyes, who on the first possession of the game saw an injury to Taylor McCabe. Here inside, Ava Hayden had the angle.
You just can't let her get any easy looks, because Ava Hayden is so efficient inside. When she gets a touch, she is very likely to score. You got to take that option away.
Cambridge coughs it up, then an offensive foul, and everything happening in Iowa's favor in front of this electric. I like that.
That's what I've always learned.
Layla Hayes is checked into the game, a freshman from Alaska. Here's Addie Deal, feeling it from the mid-range. She can be such an X factor, and her teammates and this crowd realize it. 1:15 to go here in Iowa City, first quarter, and Jelani Cambridge out of the timeout drains the triple.
And that's the first bucket for her, so I like that timeout, a play drawn out for her. Coach McGuff able to talk to her and get her going, because they need it.
And that's her first points of this game as well, and she picks it off on the opposite baseline, speeding up the court. It's one of the fastest players with the ball in her hand, leaves it for Todd, and she leaves it short. Wright now getting her team organized. 45 seconds on the clock. High-low once again. Here's Stolke finishing through the contact.
That look is so easy. I mean, that's where Iowa's going to get their bread and butter the entire game. The high-low look from there, and I'll tell you what, Sloan, when it's coming from the top of the key, the help side, they got to pick and choose who's coming in, and it was too late.
Stolke can convert, just below 54% from the free throw line this season, but Stolke with 8 points on 4 of 5 shooting. Here's another 3 on the way. That just rims out from Todd.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State's been getting pretty decent looks, just not able to cash in from outside.
Got a 3-second differential shot and game clock. And Wright eating up the seconds. Working through Hayes at the high post. She's fouled, or there's a foul underneath the basket as Stolke landed on the ground.
Yeah, I think it's tough when there's a mismatch and you're going up against size. You just have to play a little bit more aggressive, and a lot of times that does lead to fouls.
And that is going to put Iowa in the bonus. Currently on a 14-3 run. They've held Ohio State to 33% shooting. And that's Bryn Martin, who's a 6'1" freshman guard trying to muscle up with Hannah Stuelke.
It's just hard. Hannah Stuelke is so strong. She's physical. That is her territory in the paint.
Kevin McGuff says, ideally, for this matchup, we have Kit and Lemila on the floor at the same time. Do not have that luxury with her out with the second straight game. Bryn Martin lofts a three. And it's still 0.9 seconds to go in the first quarter. Ava Watson's going to check in. Might not be enough time for a heave here, but Stuelke is going to get it into right. So that's how the first quarter. Jensen has had to coach her in different ways. You're very analytical. You know the numbers support how good of a shooter you are. She was trying to work out of a slump, but a unique player and student. Here's Jelani Cambridge. Her mid-range is dialed up today. A little bit of a slow first quarter for her, though.
Yeah, they had to get Jelani. They're going to have to get Jelani Cambridge going. They need the ball in her hand. She's going to have to score it.
Chance Gray dialing up the defense against the sophomore. Here's Wright threading it inside. Journey Houston, her first appearance today. That three off target and ripped down off the rim by Lemila. Gray, a lot of time and space, and she makes the Hawkeyes pay.
This is exactly, that's textbook transition. You have Jelani Cambridge, you could just weave her way up the floor, and then Chance Gray, the lights out shooter.
Ohio State started the game making its first 3 threes since then. Before that, 1 of 7, so that was badly needed. A rejection inside ignites Ohio State. Trying to go coast to coast is Kennedy Cambridge. Now here's Jelani. No good that time, but she said, if you're going to give me a cushion, I'm going to put up this shot.
And I'm not mad about it. I want her to be more aggressive in her attack, in her shot. She's obviously lethal in the mid-range, but I need to see more scoring from Jelani.
Right, undersized against Gray, looking to work it inside to Hayden. 8:31 to go. Let's take a look at the upcoming Big Ten men's basketball schedule here on Peacock. How about Nebraska, Michigan? Nebraska's still undefeated. It was close with the Minnesota Golden Gophers in Minneapolis till about midway through the second quarter, and what a magical season they are having. Some great matchups to look forward to. Kylie Feuerbach drains a triple for the Hawkeyes.
I mean, it's amazing watching Feuerbach in her career, just diligent in her role of being the best defender, but then giving the team offense when they need it as well.
Kennedy Cambridge, the vision finds Lemila on the run. Creating for her team in the half courts. You can really see how her confidence has solidified this year. Here's Feuerbach going back to back. Another player who takes pride in her defense, but she'll bring the production as well.
Which is impressive because she has the matchup on Cambridge, which is a handful.
Gets the block there against Jelani Cambridge, and then a whistle.
I mean, we really have to talk about Kylie Feuerbach here because she's just been absolutely unstoppable in her ability. I mean, you leave the corner open, looked like Ohio State switched to a zone. That corner was vulnerable, and she knocked it down, not once, but twice in a row. And then on the other end, after that play, got a block on Jelani Cambridge.
Ava Watson had some early foul trouble. Lemila leaves that way short, but she can stroke it from the mid-range. Addie Deal lines up a three. Offensive rebound. Hayden tries to muscle it up. Jelani Cambridge weaving every which direction, leaves it for Gray, and ripped down by Stuelke. Feuerbach thought about another three, dishes it off to Hayden, slips underneath the defense for 2.
It's like for Iowa, even if it's not as pretty, the ball's bobbling around on the pass, their poise and patience to still gather, I'm talking about Ava Hayden, to still gather and go up. It's so impressive.
This Iowa team 5th in the nation in assists per game. That's how beautiful their offense is. Here's Jelani Cambridge yet again with the mid-range. She's got 7 points now.
Now again, she was in that side isolated by herself, but even on that last play in transition, she passed it up. I want to see Jelani more aggressive towards the basket. They really need her getting going.
Feuerbach Can't make it 3 in a row. Watson up ahead. Kennedy Cambridge beats every gold jersey down for an easy 2.
And remember, this is what Jan Jensen said in shoot-around. She said, make, miss, whatever the case may be, Ohio State is running, so you always have to get back.
She said, we've done pretty well against teams like Michigan State, against Maryland as well, who press, but no team is as committed to it as Ohio State, as Lemila has a denial inside.
I mean, this is one thing we got to see, Cambridge getting it going early. My girl is Lethal Sloan in the mid-range. That is her money. And you see here running in transition, the other sister. You get them two going, it's over.
6:10 to go in the second quarter. 3 on the way by Stremlow. Look at that offensive rebound by Chit Chat Wright, the smallest player on the floor. And it leads to another Iowa triple.
Listen, she might be small, Sloan, but she plays big. She plays with the utmost confidence. Love the hustle for the second chance opportunity.
Jelani Cambridge, that would have been an unreal finish with the sidestep. Instead, Iowa takes back over. But Wright told us today, she said, I've always been the smallest player on the floor, but you have to find a way to make it work. Here's Ohio State on the run, coast to coast for Ava Hayden, unencumbered. Ohio State scoring exactly how they want to right now. 10-2 fast break points. Stremlow for 3, halfway down and out, and Hayes hits the offensive glass. That foul going on Hobbs.
Yeah, Chit Chat Wright might be the smallest player out there, okay, but that's a big girl rebound. That's how you go hustle for those outside boards and create second chance opportunities for yourself.
I love when she told us that she really looks up to Erica Wheeler, who became a first-time All-Star in the WNBA at age 28, one of the most accomplished undrafted players in WNBA history, and she's undersized, and she's had to work hard to get where she is.
I get emotional every time I go back and watch her like All-Star speech when she won it. I mean,
yeah.
Just an incredible story, to your point. Someone for Chit Chat, I think that's great to look up to. She said that Erica Wheeler coached her on Essence, on its AAU team, AAU program.
A lot to take away from a WNBA starting player. Along the baseline, Kennedy Cambridge keeps it in control, leaves it for Hobbs, no good from the free throw line. And that foul is going to go on the Hawkeyes as Kennedy Cambridge was trying to sky for that rebound.
Yeah, I think she's trying to argue a case here with the arm extension. But hey, you got to credit the box out there. I mean, I was just being completely aggressive on the glass.
Kennedy Cambridge with 2, Ava Watson with 2 personals here midway through the second quarter. Deal was huge in the first frame. Slicing her way through is Deal, who finishes for a 3-point play opportunity.
Key and focus in on is putting together full 40-minute games.
So officially a 10-point lead for Iowa, 37-27. Here Deal has an opportunity to complete a 3-point play. Deal already up to 10 points on 5 of 6 shooting. And remember, Asia, she came into this game barely 20 seconds in after Taylor McCabe exited with a knee injury, and she will not be returning to this contest.
I mean, she's a player that has built so much trust with Jan Jensen in terms of just coming in, playing her role. We see in this matchup the way she's been able to light it up because she's being left open with the other players being focused on.
Ava Watson leaves it short. Corralling the rebound is Hayes. Stremlow, skip pass. Being guarded by Jelani Cambridge. And she's going to slow things up for the Hawkeyes, shooting 56% as a team. Stolke, a huge factor in the first quarter. Now it's Deal again, off 1 foot. And now Jelani Cambridge can accelerate. Leaves it for Gray.
Again, great looks. Just got to cash in on it. It seemed like Ohio State switching up their defense a bit.
Here's Stremlow lining up a baseline 3. She's got it.
Miscommunication there, but they're in that zone, and that's the spot that's been open every single time for Iowa, has been that corner 3 on the right side.
Stremlow, 8 points. She had 7 against Maryland recently. Ohio State can't respond, and snatching up the rebound is Chit-Chat Wright. Deal has also played point guard within this offense, lands inside. Stolke looking for Hayes. She coughs it up, and Ohio State has it. Cambridge stop before she gets into the paint. Here's Chance Gray slicing across the lane for two.
But see, this is what I like it, that push and attack. Jelani Cambridge going all the way. That's garnering all the attention defensively, where she was able to get it to her teammate and get the score.
8 points for Chance Gray. Came up huge against TCU in a non-conference top 10 victory. Here's another triple for the Iowa Hawkeyes. 6 already to ignite this crowd.
That same exact corner for Iowa, that thing has just been hot.
Chance Gray muscles her way inside, doesn't have the angle. Another rebound there by Hayden. That is number 5 as Deal evades all defenders to get to the rim.
That was an excellent pass. I mean, you heard the crowd with it. Anticipated, 10 steps ahead to find Deal.
Lamela tries to save it, and Iowa back with the basketball, building on its biggest lead.
Look at that pass from Chit. That's a pro pass from Chit-Chat Wright, and credit Addie Deal running straight to the ball to meet it and on the finish.
Wright, a stupendous playmaker, sharing the ball. She's been a huge key to why this team is 8-0 in Big Ten play for the first time in 30 years. Well, we know the Iowa Hawkeyes program is synonymous with sharing the basketball. They're top 5 in the nation in assists per game on the season. And 12 here this afternoon. As that is left short, Ohio State has gone completely cold. They're one of their last 8 from the floor. Wright keeping her eyes up, directing traffic. Feuerbach, tight defense along the sideline. Under 2 minutes to play here before halftime. Feuerbach drops it off to Hayden. One dribble, set and finish for the sophomore.
Iowa's just continuing to play poise and dictate their own pace. That's what they did against Michigan State. That's what they did against Maryland. And right now, that is what they've been doing against Ohio State. And that's why they have complete control over this game so far.
Near miscommunication, Jelani Cambridge along the baseline. 9 seconds for the Buckeyes, who are in disarray. Ava Watson can't dig them out of it. A 19-point lead for a game that had been separated up until a couple minutes ago by just a couple possessions. All intensity by the Hawkeyes to take control. Houston setting a screen for the freshman Deal, who loses the handle off 1 foot, leaves it short. Watson's gone coast to coast once, this time leaves it off for Gray. Badly needed for the Buckeyes.
And that's the name of the game. They just got to connect on shots. They've been getting a lot of that transition pitch back pass to the 3, just not knocking them down. Something
every team says is how hard it is to play here at Carver Hawkeye Arena. We're seeing how the Buckeyes are trying to respond going into the halftime locker room. Wright surveying, looking for a Hayden. It's picked off, and a last shot opportunity secured for the Buckeyes.
He talked about the response going into the locker room. Remember that last game against Indiana? The deficit, and when they came back in the second half.
Jelani Cambridge. Hesitation, tries to get herself free against the length of Feuerbach. Can't knock that country in Ohio State. So see how the second half unfolds. Ohio State is used to crawling out of double-digit holes. It's something they do not shy away from, and Iowa starts off with a turnover their first possession.
Yep, and this is exactly what we saw. We talked about the 17-point deficit they came out of at halftime against the Indiana Hoosiers. It really started with them turning Indiana over in that second quarter in the big 3 when you talk about Jelani Cambridge, Chance Gray, Kennedy Cambridge stepping up and putting points in the basket.
That broken up, the Iowa Hawkeyes take it away. A couple of turnovers to begin this second half. Inside, Hannah Stolke smothered, but gets it right back. That's how you stick with it, even if you're blocked.
That is how you stick with it. And Ohio State, Lemela, she's going to have to be more aggressive on that because I like the front, Cambridge in the front, and Lemela on the help side there.
Kennedy Cambridge, a tough take, nearly a three-point play, and she'll be shooting 2.
And Hannah Stuelke, the catalyst, the mismatch for this entire game. So she's being fronted. Lemela there helping, gets the block, but Stuelke doesn't give up. She stays with it. She's one of the most aggressive players, Sloan, that I've seen in this conference.
And that is something that Ohio State clearly had to make an adjustment with, because Stuelke had 10 points in the first half, missed only 2 of her 6 shots.
Yeah, they've had to drop back in the zone. They've had to switch the coverage because one-on-one is just not going to bode well for the Buckeyes. They're going to need as much help as possible.
Iowa easily breaking Ohio State's press. It is Deal on the finishing end.
The press is so top-heavy. Once you get it over, Ohio State is so vulnerable, and that's the corner right there. You got Deal going up against Lemela. No one there to close out, and she gets it.
Even this early in the second half, Asia, I think a critical stretch for Ohio State. They cannot let this balloon. She must have been overhearing me. Kennedy Cambridge dropping in a 3.
Yeah, they're going to have to connect in on more shots. They're going to have to get steals. Ohio State wins when they dictate the pace, and that's the stops the scores.
And again, Iowa in good rhythm. It is Deal once more, and tracked down by Jelani Cambridge little by little. The Ohio State Buckeyes trying to climb back into this game. It was close throughout the first quarter, much of the second quarter, before Iowa put their foot on the gas.
Let's have another look at it here, breaking the press. It's so simple. You get over those first 2 lines. It is the corner wing that's open every single time, and Addie Deal just had a straight line drive to the basket.
Another rebound for Hannah Stuelke. And that's going to put her at a double-double already. 2nd consecutive double-double, 6th this season. Here is right straight on. But Stuelke just putting up monster numbers of late. The National Player of the Week for this week. Here's Jelani Cambridge, tries to go behind the back, and Iowa pounces.
Again, Hannah Stuelke, one of the players getting in on that ball right there. She just works so hard. Offense, defense, on the glass. She's relentless.
Stuelke trying to get that seal inside, a deep post up. All she has to do is finish over Kennedy Cambridge. She has the ability to take over this game.
And you saw she didn't have the pass on one end, so when the ball reversed, she continued to work, flashed in the middle. That's how you punish the defense, when they're not working on the same level as you in the paint.
Ohio State for the 2nd straight game without Kylie Kitts, their 6'4" freshman from Florida. And they're missing her absence today. Kennedy Cambridge over Stuelke, tries to save a good effort, but going the other way.
Just watch Stuelke on the last play here. Just really getting a body. Before that, the ball, she didn't get it on the other side. So she quarterbacked the offense to get it to the other end.
Feuerbach goes across the court. That is blocked by Lemela. A lesson for the freshman. And then she sprints out ahead. 6'6", Lemela, a 3-point play opportunity.
We're going to talk about these Lemela blocks here.
She's got 5.
5 blocks. So I didn't have it up on my screen, so thank you for the assist there, Sloan. But I mean, blocking inside the paint with the way she anchors in there, the way she blocks from the outside, sprinting the floor, now getting to the free throw line.
Kennedy Cambridge tries to work hard to get that rebound. Instead, it goes to Wright. 3 minutes into this third quarter, 54-39. Iowa still maintaining this advantage. The help defense by Cambridge really helping out there. Still Iowa ball.
Kennedy Cambridge, and Jan Jensen talked about this. She does a great job with anticipating, but almost baiting you, making you think that that pass is open, but she's going to fly in there and get it.
Stuelke leaves it for Feuerbach. The hesitation. She scores right at Lemela.
So you credit the attack of Feuerbach, but also, you know how I do with my post players. Hannah Stuelke completely carved out the space that allowed Feuerbach to get that open lane to the basket.
Doesn't go in the box score. Let's call that an assist, though. I think that's fair.
As if Iowa doesn't already have enough assists, right? But again, watch how Hannah Stuelke just carved out the space. It made it so easy. The lane completely just opened for Feuerbach to get in there. Lemela came over, helped a little too late.
Feuerbach just picked up her 2nd personal foul. Gray tries to get downhill. She's met by a brick wall, then turns it over. Deal keeping her eyes up. Drops it inside. It is Stuelke again going right at Kennedy Cambridge, but can't convert. Jelani now into the front court. Leaves it for Watson. That's left short. Cambridge working incredibly hard, keeps it alive for the Buckeyes. She now back out on her feet. And another rejection inside. Iowa owning the paint.
And this is a team that traditionally has done so well this season in guarding the paint, but the length, Sloan, the length from the Hawkeyes has been absolutely disruptive. I mean, they're making every single shot for Ohio State so different, just taking away that paint, as you were saying.
Layla Hayes checks in for Ava Hayden. Here's Ava Watson. Kennedy Cambridge. And the offensive rebound kept alive by Ella Hobbs. Gray was calling for it, nearly loses it. Kennedy Cambridge attacking right at Stuelke. Can't get that to fall on a wild take. Stuelke again wants it in the post. Hayes amongst the traffic, post to post, and Iowa continues to feast inside. 30-10,
how sometimes her team, when they get into a rhythm, they still force that same shot that might not be there. She wants them to continue to trust each other and trust the offense, and I think I've been seeing a lot of that.
Chance Gray, the step back three is far off targets and kept in. Hawkeye basketball still in control here in the third, outscoring the Buckeyes 10-7. Here is Deal letting it fly. I think if she hit that, the roof would have blown off this place with what we've seen in this packed Carver Hawkeye Arena.
I mean, Addie Deal just having an outstanding game.
Deal, but Jensen has been able to adapt the identity while keeping and maintaining that culture.
And also just not a team anymore that's focused around one player like how they were back in the Clark days. Now it's a team effort. Obviously, they're led with their posts in the paint, but you see the trust, the chemistry that they have with each other. To your point, Sloan, the momentum just keeps building. Still a sellout arena here.
Which is fantastic to see. Credit to the folks here in Eastern Iowa. That was Lemula scoring inside on the putback, and off the turnover, it's going to be Ohio State basketball. That ended a 2+ minute scoring drought for the Buckeyes. So this last play looks like an appeal is going to be brought, looking at possibly possession.
Disagree, but again, I'm sitting in the analyst chair. I'm not wearing the stripe.
It is not easy.
It's not easy.
Certainly not.
So I'm gonna stay over here, do my job, mind my business.
Working through Lemula for this Ohio State offense that's been stagnant throughout today, just 33% shooting. One-on-one, Lemula with the spin move, but Stuelke made that tough. Deal orchestrating this offense, came into the game with an early injury to Taylor McCabe. A starter here is Stuelke through the interior with a tough finish.
And Houston, just an excellent pass. She saw that Hannah Stuelke had Jelani Cambridge on her butt, so that was an easy look there.
Cambridge, a tough take, couldn't quite get it to go. Still a 19-point lead for the Hawkeyes. Iowa 4-2 against top 25 teams this season. Looking to make it 5. 10 to shoot now for the Hawkeyes. Deal draws the defense. It goes inside. Journey Houston spins, and she's fouled.
Again,
that ball went everywhere.
Everywhere. But again, it's the poise and patience from Iowa that makes them so successful offensively. Houston getting bobbled up, struggling in there, but stays with it, turns around, look at the body control there, and then draws the foul.
Houston looking to get on the board today, 0 for 1 shooting, but someone who makes an impact in so many ways. She's playing undersized, she's playing as a 4 on this team. Asked her one time, she said, I'm really more of a guard, more of a small forward too, playing out of position. I don't know if she's going to go back with the way that she's been playing at times this season.
Listen, you got to get in where you fit in college basketball.
Here is Tiana Todd with a strong take, snaring the rebound. Now Cambridge for 3. She's got it.
Yeah, and those second chance points, that's going to be huge for Ohio State. It's only the third one that they had there. I mean, credit Iowa's rebounding.
Another three on the way, and down for the Hawkeyes, deep in the corner this time.
Those corner threes have been open for Iowa the whole game. Ohio State just has not figured out a way to stop that.
Wright with 6 points for Iowa. Jelani Cambridge, they go underneath the screen. She says, I got that.
Let me tell you something, Sloan. It is take over the time. You know, you need to get back in. You got to have the ball in the hands of your best player, and that's Jelani Cambridge.
Jelani Cambridge is #1 in Big Ten play in points per game, nearly 26 per contest. Expect to see her to break out. There's Journey Houston from the free throw line.
Sloan, Houston had a major game in that win in overtime over Maryland.
Looking to thread it inside. It's an Ohio State turnover, and that is number 8 for the squad. Under 2 minutes to go before the fourth quarter here in Iowa City. Tegan Mullaney. There's a lob inside. And that's going to be Ohio State ball. Iowa dialing it up from 3. Ohio State as well. Jelani Cambridge from deep.
Yeah, it's been raining threes in these last few possessions. That's what Ohio State wants to see, connect from outside. That's what we've been seeing the entire game from Iowa. The chat is open with Chit Chat Wright sneaking in from that corner. I got that from Zora, so I'm not even going to take all the credit. I got to give Zora Stevenson, my partner from the last game, the credit for that one.
I was going to say, let's keep it alive. Keeping it alive from deep is Jelani Cambridge. She's up to 16 points, 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. Deep post up for Hayden, just that easy, burying her defender.
I mean, this is how dynamic Iowa's offense is. They get corner threes. They're attacking inside the next possession. Such a hard guard.
Kennedy Cambridge. She said, you're going to force me to be a forward tonight? I'm going to back my way into the basket. Has 2 free throws coming up. Taking a look at the standings right now. Iowa tied with UCLA at 8-0. Ohio State tied with their rival Michigan at 7-1. So these are top 2 teams in the Big Ten, and it is tight and competitive at the top.
And that's what we talked about off the jump. When we talked to Coach McGuffin, he said it's always something on the line. You see how tight it is. Both teams wanting to win to secure their dominance, prove that they're the top dogs.
Under a minute to go in the third. Feuerbach gets out of trouble, finds an open deal. She's got it and has tied her career high. Watson takes off, can't finish. Wright slumming things down. 2-second differential shot and game clock to close out the third. Seven to shoot for Wright. Whips a pass over to Deal, has that blocked by Kennedy Cambridge, put it right in front of her. 3-on-1, Todd leaves it for Cambridge. I don't think she got it off in time. Connell saying she did something Coach Jensen told us. Yes, we have that advantage with her size, but how can that be reversed? And she's taken over on both sides.
There's always, that's like the drop off there. You might have that advantage on offense, but then defense, you have the disadvantage. And to your point, Slow, she's been moving her feet. She's been moving her hands. She's been very active on the perimeter.
Ohio State on the offensive end. Kennedy Cambridge darts into the paint, is fouled by Journey Houston. Let's take a look at the upcoming women's basketball schedule here on Peacock coming your way. UConn continues to roll, to put it mildly, in Big East play. But Indiana still looking for its first Big Ten win. I think I'm most interested in seeing Iowa and USC. USC, of course, short-handed this year. They don't have Juju Watkins. They came up just short last week against Michigan State on the road. I think it's going to be a fun up-tempo kind of game.
Yeah, I think, when you go into these Big Ten matchups, even if a team's not ranked, you still treat them like a ranked opponent because essentially they can be. In USC, they bring that defense. Iowa's just seeing a lot of defensively staunch teams for these next upcoming matchups. UCLA right after that.
Yeah, it's never easy, that is for sure.
That LA swing trip is something else.
Addie Deal, a deep three. She is sitting at 18 points. That has tied her career high on the run. Lemula has that snatched away. Chit-chat right. Came out of nowhere.
One of the hardest workers on the floor. And she said that's always been her mindset. She said, I've always been small, so you just have to work extra hard, and she does indeed.
You have to find a way. And she does it with the way she plays this game. Hayden, beautifully done, mid-range ball. The love has been spread offensively throughout this entire lineup today. Hayden now up to 12.
Remember, Sloan, I talked about that in shoot-around. I was like, why doesn't Ava Hayden shoot the ball more from that spot when teams don't necessarily give her a hard contest? And Coach said, I want her to shoot that thing.
Iowa again forces the turnover. They have been all over the place defensively, too.
And it has been everybody. Guards, posts, we just saw there with Ava Hayden. All 5 players out on the court at all times are working on defense.
You are seeing the strength of Iowa's defense on display as Deal, a hard take, and she has a chance here to set a new career high.
Let's have another look at it here. Hayden open, getting the ball over Lemula. That's a shot that she can knock down. I wanted to see her shoot it more. Jan Jensen said she has the green light to do it, but that's how you shoot it, knock it down confidently.
And Asia, she's an interesting case to study because Coach Jan Jensen said, yes, we have a way we do things here with Iowa Post. We don't want them to dribble. We want to find those open, quick opportunities. But she said because of the pep in the step, the bounce that Hayden has, she can do things a little bit differently and is encouraged to expand her game.
We were actually joking about it. I was like, Ava Hayden has like these sneaky quickness.
Yes.
She really can move. And those are the ways you can find her. I mean, the advantage of having a big that can move the way she does, that can score from, that free throw line area the way that she can.
Foul on this side. Meanwhile, on the other side, Addie Deal, officially her first 20-point game of her career, up to 20 points after those 2 free throws, and setting a new career high. That last foul going on Deal. That is her second.
The Buckeyes have little to no room for error if they're going to want to chip in at this win with how much they're down by. They're going to have to be aggressive, try to get to the free throw line. They're going to have to make shots, get on the glass.
Nearly a 3-point play. That would have helped. But time starting to run low on Ohio State. They have double-digit comebacks this season against West Virginia, Northern Kentucky, Maryland, TCU, and most recently against Indiana. They've been there, down by double figures, have come back to win. But Iowa's a different kind of challenge.
Yeah, and the reason why they were able to come back in those wins because they completely dictated the pace, the tempo to their favor in the second half. You had Jelani Cambridge, Kennedy Cambridge, Chance Gray just coming out with buckets. They're not doing that as much in this half.
Iowa has had no issue with this press. It's high percentage shot after another. This time it is Hayden.
Once you get past that second line, it's over. It's such a top-heavy press, which spooks teams so much, they typically will turn it over, but when you have that patience and poise, you get great looks out of it.
You and I have seen a lot of teams spooked by Ohio State's pressure. Iowa's the opposite. Jelani Cambridge there fouls.
And Iowa, Sloan has historically, especially when they had Caitlin Clark, has been teams that had to take Ohio State out of the press because it wasn't working. But again, it's that throw over. That 3 was there, but we talked about the assists, giving up a good shot for the best shot, which is at the lane. That's a great pass from Kylie Feuerbach.
That's something Coach Jensen really praises about Feuerbach. She's not going to light up the box score, but she knows what to do. She gets everyone organized. She is making the right play, and I think that's a great example.
Exactly. That's the senior leadership there. The IQ. She said it. Jan Jensen said it. She said, I have the perfect mix of youngsters, but also the experience.
This is actually the youngest team for the Hawkeyes in about 12 years, but you wouldn't know it. Here's Strumlow again off that press break, leaves it for the trailer, and you reward the post running the floor. Ava Watson for three, no good, and gobbling up the rebound yet again is Hannah Stuelke. That's number 13 to go with 18 points on today's game. Hayden fouled inside. The Iowa Hawkeyes, 9 freshmen and sophomores, most since the 2012-13 season. But Asia, there is this connectedness and confidence that is really tangible.
Yeah, I think that's the benefit when you have a young team. They really play like they have nothing to lose. They're excited to play, so you're always going to get that hard work from them. They just lack that experience, but then that's what you have these older players for the Hawkeyes, to get them together, to have that poise. It's just a perfect combination.
Look at that steal by Kennedy Cambridge, but she can't finish on the other end. Still battling on the floor. It's a physical fight, no matter the score, as Stremlo was tied up with Kennedy Cambridge. She brings a lot of juice on the floor.
I mean, this is what's on the line. We talked about how intense these matchups have always been between these two teams, and we see it right here. In the squabble for the ball, no one is letting up. I love it. Stremlo getting hype, getting active.
I did a game where she got teed up. She can get pretty fiery, but that's what this team really likes about her, how she competes. And you saw it right there on the jump ball. The hesitation by Deal and wrapped up by Hobbs. Ava Hayden gets big applause going over to the bench. And here comes Layla Hayes. Stuelke darts to the rim, blocked from behind by Kennedy Cambridge. Not playing like a guard today.
I had to make sure I saw that right.
Jelani Cambridge gives it back. Chance Gray for three. Yes! Ohio State is a team with how quickly they can score, Asia. You can never completely count out. 6 minutes to go, but the urgency has to be high right now.
Yeah, again, no room for error. They have to get stops on defense with Iowa. Nothing easy in the paint for Stuelke here.
But Iowa has time on their side as Hobbs secures that rebound, gives it up to Jelani Cambridge. Cambridge was looking for a teammate who was not there. Still a 20-point lead for the Hawkeyes.
But see, that's what I mean for little to no room for error. How about the block here? I really had to check my eyes, but the block from Kennedy Cambridge. And then the pass back from Jelani Cambridge to Chance Gray, one of the best three-point shooters on this team. That's what Ohio State has to continue to do, get stops and get looks like that on the offensive end.
Stuelke leaving it for Hayes. A little too beyond her reach, but it'll stay with the Hawkeyes. 79-59 is Iowa's lead. We know this crowd appreciates this squad, their effort, how they've been winning the first 8-0 start in 30 years, and they continue to show up 3 straight years with sellouts in this building. Deal in trouble. Feuerbach dishes it out long. 2 for Stuelke. And Jelani Cambridge. Look how many gold jerseys are back to try and stop her. Flying on the floor, Kennedy Cambridge leaves it for Watson. It's going to stay here with Ohio State at the midway point of the 4th quarter.
You know, Ohio State just giving everything that they have to really try to chip in. And I mean, it's tough. You're down 20. You have Iowa, who just is completely just on an unstoppable run. They've dictated the tempo this entire game so far.
Let's not forget, just last game, Maryland was down 17 points with 3 minutes to go against this Hawkeye team. They forced overtime. I'm sure lessons learned from that matchup, but some recent history to keep in mind.
Yeah, and we talked to Jan Jensen about that, and she said, you know, some late mistakes. She wanted her team. She said maybe we need to work on more, you know, pressure situation scenarios.
High-low. Look at that reverse from Layla Hayes in tight space.
The post-to-post high-low action for Iowa is just unstoppable. It's so impressive to watch.
First points for Hayes today, a freshman from Alaska. Jelani Cambridge straight on, drops it through from distance. Still a 19-point lead for the Hawkeyes. Number 10 ranked team in the country. Deal patient around a screen, lots of physicality, tries to spin, but Ohio State for 9 shooting just 3 games ago. And Coach Jensen said, I just let her play relax. She came in with a lot of pressure as a top 10 recruit in the country. She's handled it beautifully. And she's just someone who wants to play with a lot of freedom and joy in her game.
The word freedom, I think that's the recipe for success when you have young players that are sort of thrown into the fire early. There's a lot of teaching to do. But really, it takes time and experience under your belt. So in the meantime, as free as you let them play, there's not as much thinking about the game. They just go out and hoop.
To have a 20-point game on 50% shooting, tie your career high in assists against the number 12 team in the country, that is a big deal.
Yep. Oh,
you saw it coming.
I like that.
You pointed to me before I even said it. Jelani Cambridge darts her way inside. 81-64 is Iowa's lead. 3 minutes to go. This is the trouble spot time against Maryland. Most recently. That is tied up. Meanwhile, ability to pour in points and just be a speed demon out there is really comparable.
Sloan, at Maryland, we switched 1 through 4. I was at the 4 spot. Switching on Kelsey Mitchell was like, why are we setting me up right now?
Like I still am haunted by these memories. 2:45 to go. Jelani Cambridge, an excellent game, and she adds to it. That is 6 triples for the Big Ten's leading scorer. She's at 26. Boy, she has played with max effort to try and keep her team in this. Getting her way into the paint, Strumlow tied up. The 3 on the way and good, but for Chit Chat Wright, she's got 3 triples today. Coach has been telling her to shoot more, and she said, all right, I've heard you. Just had 18 points. Most recently was Ava Hayden with a rejection inside. More ball movement by the Hawkeyes. Inside, outside, inside, and in. Ava Hayden on the finish.
It is literally that part, Sloan. The way they've been able to score inside, out. How dynamic, the depth of their offense.
There's another 3 for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And Hobbs. A timeout called by the Buckeyes.
You see the look there from Hayden, and then on the other end, the 3-point basket.
86-70 is Iowa's lead. 94 seconds to play. Wisconsin, who has 2 ranked wins this season, we should point out. Not a team to overlook this season. And then back-to-back ranked opponents. In fact, 3 of the next 4. Right from deep. She drains it, and a whistle. 1:19 on the clock. Eight to shoot for Wright. She'll put up a long-range 2, and she's got it. On a day where she has tied her career high in 3, she pours in even more, up to 14 points for Wright.
Coach Jensen said it. She doesn't take enough shots, but if she were to take 18 shots, she'd make 16 out of the 18. That's how efficient she is.
Fans on their feet here at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Todd no good from 3, and yet another board for Stolke. That is 15 to go along with 18 points. A 21-point lead. And this felt close to a masterclass for Iowa to do this to an Ohio State team that had won 7 straight games coming in. Coach McGuff said, "We've improved so much since January 1st. We continue to climb and grow." And the Iowa Hawkeyes stifled them at every turn. Ranked victory number 5 this season against number 12 Ohio State. The final 91-70 in favor of Iowa.